Welcome back to Empowered. My name is Lauren Spaniello, and I've been sitting here and having a chat today with Eric Bowers, who's recently written this profound book. It's called Meet Me in Hard to Love Places. As you can appreciate, the book is the book's title will entice you to read it even more. It did me anyway, and I felt there's lots of information in here. So I hope today that you get bits of pieces that will get you curious enough to grab the book from Amazon, right? And start reading it, and hopefully it'll get you to do some healing on yourself and with your partner or your family relationships and so on and so forth. So in the previous segment, you ended off with our left and right hemisphere of our brain, and in the book you talked about differentiation and linking, and I'm wondering if you could just speak on that, and so how that can, and having that understanding and how that can help us in relationship.
Yeah, I often refer to differentiation and linking as the two cornerstones for successful relationship. And differentiation, meaning that I'm my own person, I'm different, I'm unique, I have my own feelings, my own needs, my own personality, my own dreams, and I'm not responsible for you, for your feelings and your needs. But linking means I care about you and your feelings and needs. And I want to get to know you, and I want you to get to know me, and I want to support you, and I want to be supported. I want to create something together that's more than we could each create on our own. So in successful relationships, we're balancing those two pieces of I'm my own unique person, I'm not responsible for you, but I care about you and I want to get to know you. So there's a lot that fits into what I'm just saying in terms of what that actually looks like.
Yes.
Yeah. And it comes to anytime two things are in relationship, like the two hemispheres of our brain. They're each different, but they're linked through the corpus callosum. And those two things need to be linked well, and they need to be differentiated well for us to really fulfill our full potential.
Right. And when you say full potential, what does that mean for you?
Well, it means that I become more and more of my full self, and I express more of my talent in the world, and I trust myself more. And I also become better and better able to be really close with others and trust them, and show my full self to them, and really learn more and more about it's a sort of an ongoing linking and ongoing differentiation, and each supports the other. So the more I feel like I'm being my full self, the safer I can feel about getting close with another. And the closer I feel with another, the more supported I feel to, hey, go out there and be my full self.
So how does this link with nonviolent communication, which is please tell us what that is.
Yeah. So nonviolent communication was developed by Marshall Rosenberg.
Right, who's since passed, hasn't
he? Passed about a year ago.
Oh, yeah.
After over 30 years of traveling the world sharing nonviolent communication.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not amazing that he's passed, but
what he was able to do.
What he's able to do, yeah.
Yeah, he was very inspiring to me. So on one level, nonviolent communication is a way to use words in support of connection. But ultimately, it's just about building connection inwardly with ourselves and then outwardly with other people. And sometimes words is an important part of that, and sometimes we need to look elsewhere for our connection or do other strategies other than talking. And, and how I use words is going to be different depending on whom I'm with. When we get into conflict, the way we use words tends to get really important.
Right.
Separating out our judgments and making clear observations, getting to the needs and understanding your needs. Nonviolent communication is a needs-based language. So what are your needs, what are my needs, and how can we work together to make sure both of our needs are getting met, rather than I'm right, you're wrong, therefore I win.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
How does nonviolent communication address the ego?
Wow. Well, on one level, you can tell if you're more just looking out for yourself if you're not giving any empathy to the other person, if you're not curious about what are their needs. So you can use perfect nonviolent communication. Lauren, here's my observation, my feeling, my need, request, and this is what I want you to do. Do you sense that I'm at all trying to connect with you?
No.
No, I'm just out for myself.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So if I say, here's my observation, feeling, and need, and would you be willing to tell me what's going on for you? Because I want to hear your needs too. That's a whole different experience. Now I'm trying to work together with you rather than just get my way.
Right.
I'm sure there's lots of other ways you could look at it in terms of the ego, but ultimately nonviolent communication is trying to get us to be interdependent.
What do you think Marshall saw that he, or observed, that he created this form of communication?
Well, when he was 8, his family moved to Detroit just before the race riots. And they actually had to lock themselves in their home for 3 days.
Wow.
And I think about 30 people died in those 3 days. I'm not sure of that number, but several people died during those 3 days.
Right.
And so as an 8-year-old, this had a profound impact.
Right.
And then he was fortunate enough to witness people who were incredibly compassionate and kind. So he was really puzzled. Why can humans be on one hand so violent and then on the other hand so kind and compassionate?
Right.
Yeah.
So, language is so powerful, and the use of language, whether it be in media, and the way we, converse with our loved ones and in, intimate relationships. And I find that the little that I know about this modality, this form of communication, it is that I would think that it's very healing on some level, because there's an opportunity to acknowledge yourself and the other person.
Yeah.
Would you not say?
One of the most healing things for me in nonviolent communication is the principle that everything we're doing is our best attempt to meet a need.
Right.
Even if we're doing things that look really painful or are painful for others, it's still our best attempt to meet our need. And if we get enough empathy, if we get enough help to stay connected to our needs, then we can find better and better ways to meet our needs.
Yeah, oftentimes we don't really even know what those are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very few of us grew up learning about needs.
Yes.
Yeah. Most of us learned about what's right and wrong
and all the rest of it.
Who's this?
How does, sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah. How does self-love come into this?
Well, I think I'll bring it back to the brain a little bit.
Okay.
Just to keep it grounded in.
Yeah.
So in the right hemisphere, we have our stronger emotions, and generally more of the painful emotions. I'm making some generalities, but
yeah.
And we're not born with the capacity to calm our own emotions. Anyone who's been around children, they see this, right?
Yeah.
And they don't go, wow, what am I feeling? How's my body doing right now? I really need some comfort.
Yeah.
They need caregivers who respond with resonant responsiveness, who can match them where they're at and help them calm their. And if they get that consistently, then they develop, I'm using this as a brain where the amygdala's in here and it fires away and we lose that prefrontal cortex. But if we get enough caring responsiveness, then we develop our own self-calming neural networks. And we develop more capacity for compassion for ourselves. We don't learn that it's wrong to be angry or it's wrong to be really excited. We just learn that, wow, I am feeling really angry. What does that mean? Oh, I must have a need for respect or inclusion and so on. And then we get to drive this brain much more effectively. We don't have to shut off from those feelings, but we don't get overwhelmed by them either. And then we can, if we're not getting support to feel our feelings, then we start to judge ourselves if we're angry or if we're sad or if we're too excited. So the difference for me is love is really just about being really present and compassionate with whatever is,
Whatever's going on.
rather than judging it and blaming it.
Yeah.
And then if I can be present and compassionate with my anger or my despair or whatever, my joy and my exhilaration, then I'm loving more of my full self, and then I can also share and be present with others if they're having those same emotions.
What's your definition of a successful relationship?
Well, there's a few things. One is a healthy balance of linking and differentiation. So it's really important in a relationship that each person still is differentiating, still discovering their talents and their unique expression and turning themselves on in life with whatever is meaningful and purposeful. But they're coming together and creating something that's rich and meaningful together as well. I believe that takes a lot of support. So part of a successful relationship means that there's a lot of support for both the differentiation and the linking, because again, all of our hard to love places are surfacing, all of the painful implicit memories, those unconscious memories start to surface. Those are really hard to work with in relationships. So part of my definition of a successful relationship is a well-supported relationship. And I'm talking about a really successful relationship where people are thriving, they're really coming alive in the world, and they're really able to bond deeply and intimately.
Have you seen examples of people like that?
Not a lot. That's why I wrote this book.
Okay.
It's out there, but it's hard.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that you have a book launch coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
March
Where's
13th.
that? Okay.
Yeah, Café du Soleil.
Okay.
And I'm also in a band, and our
Okay.
band will be playing, and a lot of the song lyrics are included because the songs are really linked to the work of the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you really embody. You embody your book.
I try. Yeah. I mean, it's a life journey, really.
It really is. Yeah. If you've since you've written this book, what has the book taught you?
It's taught me perseverance. It was really the hardest thing I've ever done in terms of a computer project, I guess. It's taught me more about reaching out for help. So many people supported me with this book.
No, good.
Yeah, and it's showing me more of my hard to love places. It's brought up all kinds of things that because I'm writing about my past and so on. So
Right.
yeah.
I always think that, oh gosh, I hope one day we kind of get it. But I don't know. That's what I kind of hope for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I do appreciate you being with us, our viewers today.
Yeah.
And so I thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for writing the book.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So as I said earlier, that this book is a bold book. It was challenging for me today, as I learned today, that I wanted to cover all sorts of things that were written in this book. And so you'll have to purchase it to get all the fine details. And you can also go to your website, right?
Yeah.
roadtocompassion.com. I like that. All right, thank you. So thank you again for joining me on this session of Empowered. I hope that you found today's session educational, and I wish you well in your successful relationships and with everything else in your life. Best wishes. Thank you for joining me as usual. Bye-bye.